It all started when I moved into my new apartment. It was an old building full of character and charm. One of the things that drew me to it was the large antique mirror in the bedroom. It was beautiful, with an ornate frame and a slightly tarnished surface that gave it a sense of history. On my first night in the apartment, I was tired from unpacking. I took a moment to admire the mirror before heading to bed. There was something captivating about it, something that made it feel almost alive. As I lay in bed, I couldn't help but glance at the mirror. The faint moonlight streaming through the window cast eerie shadows, making the reflection seem almost otherworldly. I brushed off the feeling and eventually fell asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night, a strange feeling of unease washing over me. The room was silent, but I felt like I wasn't alone. I glanced at the mirror and saw something that made my blood run cold. In the mirror, I saw a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed. My heart pounded in my chest as I turned to look, but there was nothing there. I told myself it was just my imagination, but I couldn't shake the fear. I got up and covered the mirror with a sheet, hoping it would help me sleep. I climbed back into bed, but it took a long time for me to calm down and fall asleep. The next day, I tried to put the incident out of my mind. I went about my day, unpacking and settling into my new home, but the feeling of unease lingered. That evening, I decided to uncover the mirror. I told myself it was silly to be afraid of a reflection. I pulled the sheet off and stood in front of it, staring at my own reflection. Everything seemed normal. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a slight movement in the mirror that didn't match my own. I froze, my eyes locked on the reflection. There it was again, the shadowy figure. This time it was standing right behind me. I turned around quickly, but once again, there was nothing there. My heart was racing and I felt a cold sweat on my forehead. I didn't know what to do. I decided to investigate the history of the mirror. Maybe there was something about it that I didn't know. I went to the building's manager and asked about the previous tenants. The manager told me that a previous tenant had a tragic accident in the apartment. She didn't go into details, but I could tell it was something serious. My unease grew stronger. I did some research online and found an old news article about the accident. A woman had lived in the apartment and had died in front of the mirror. The circumstances were mysterious, and some people believed the mirror was cursed. I felt a mix of fear and determination. I had to know if the mirror was truly cursed. That night, I sat in front of it, determined to face whatever was haunting me. I sat in front of the mirror, the room dark and silent. I stared at my reflection, waiting. Hours passed, and just when I thought nothing would happen, the shadowy figure appeared again. This time, I didn't look away. I confronted the figure, asking what it wanted. The reflection seemed to waver, and I heard a faint whisper. "Help me," it said. I felt a wave of sadness and understanding. The spirit wasn't trying to harm me. It was trapped and needed help. I promised to find a way to set it free. The next day, I sought help from a local paranormal expert. She told me the spirit was indeed trapped and that I needed to perform a ritual to release it. That night, I performed the ritual in front of the mirror. As I finished, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. The shadowy figure appeared one last time, nodded, and then vanished. The mirror now reflects nothing but the room. The spirit is at peace, and so am I. Sometimes mirrors can show us things we don't want to see, but they can also help us understand and bring closure to the past.